everybody. It's good to have you guys here, like Mark said. So I'm glad we actually got some snow for all the cold we've had to suffer through. We got to enjoy that. Hopefully it was enjoyable and safe for everybody. Made some good memories with the families in the last week. But we are right back on mission. Amen? That is who we are. That is what we've been called to do, is to join Christ in his great commission and to be purposeful in how we live our lives. And so in this series, Make Your Mark, we've really been focusing on what kind of lasting legacy are we going to leave behind when we pass on? What will we have passed on to our family, to our friends, to our church, to our community? What will we have contributed, not in our name, but in his name? And so if it is your first time at RockFish Church here, I just want to say welcome. What you're experiencing is a slightly different service. We only do two times a year, but we believe is extremely necessary. So if you're like, hey, this is a really weird church service, the way we're going to do this today, I encourage you, please join us next week. You'll see what a regular service looks like. But this is pivotal in harvesting what we've been planting and watering all along leading up to this point. And so I want to go right into Matthew 5:13 through 15. This is Jesus speaking. He says, "You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house." So we are salt and we are light. Essentially, what is that telling us is we are of great value, not just to ourselves in the church, but great value to the world. We have a quality that is enriching, that offers something back, something better. And the light is the representation, it's the invitation, it's the drawing attention to the value being brought to you right now. As we go and share the gospel, as we go and share the good news, we are bringing value, and the light says, hey, draw your attention over here. We've got something better than what you've been experiencing. And so our scripture for this week is to let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. So again, everything we've been talking about in this series is about pointing back and glorifying the one who created us, the one who saved us, the one who purposed us for something different. And so looking that in every deed we do, whether it's an act of service or just the way we live our daily life, is that we would draw our attention, everyone else's attention, to the goodness of God and how he changes lives. But there's a bridge between our identity and our purpose. That salt and light aspect. There's a bridge between those things. And Jesus says we are the light of the world. That's our identity. That's who we are. That's who we belong to. And that our purpose is to glorify what he does. Because the second we forget our purpose or lose our purpose, all of a sudden there's no value we're bringing and offering. So we can't forget that we have a purpose. We have that mission to be on. And so from the very beginning, man has been created for dominion and for caring for, tending to the very thing and things we've been given dominion over. Not so we would just be rulers, but that we would tend to everything handed over to us. We would be responsible for, care for, and build up those things. I was talking to somebody this week. Thankfully, we have the ability to, be transparent. We can kind of express some things. And somebody had shared with me their concern. They're like, hey, the last 2 weeks have not been the opportunity for us as normal to gather and have a typical church service and have the same kind of preaching. Hopefully everybody tuned in and saw that we shared the message in a slightly different way, tried to make it a little more relatable, conversatable than typical. But they were worried. They're like, hey, for the last 2 weeks we haven't been able to do that, and now we're going to have Expo, which means for 3 weeks we're not going to have the same church service that we're used to, and that bothers me. And so they were willing to share that. And look, I'll just tell you, as understanding as I am about how we like to do church, we've got preferences and we've got best practices. And as much as I'd like to go back to a regular church service, I cannot. I can't, as director of ministry, as a pastor of a church in general, we cannot sacrifice the invitation to draw people into ministry for the sake of doing church as normal. There's a reason we do this twice a year. One, so that there's enough time to plant and to water and to feed and to wait and to encourage. But we have to do this twice a year because we need to have people that those folks need an invitation. They need that barrier torn down to know that they can confidently and carefully step into a ministry God has called them to. That is the culture of who RockFish Church is. By the way, this is not some new thing we invented. This has been going on here for roughly 30 years. We've been doing the expo because it's important, because it's missional. Because if all we do is plant and water, plant and water, plant and water, we never harvest. And we don't bring in new blood to do the work, to share in the ministry. There are three deficits there. One is that ministry needs people. Ministry doesn't magically happen on its own. God has purposed us and empowered us to be the ministers to the church and outside the church. So ministry needs people for ministry to occur in the first place. But the second one is that people need ministry. And the lower level of that, the immediate thought might be, people need to be served by ministry. And I'll just tell you, yes, that's true. We cannot deny that fact. That's where the value comes in for the one being served. But the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve. And so it's better to give than receive. And so for one to receive, somebody else has to be giving. For one to be served, somebody else has to be serving. And so ministry doesn't need people nearly as much as people need ministry. People need to be ministering. You want to grow in depth? You want to grow in testing your faith, in watching what God has actually done with you because you test out the character He's changing in your heart? You do it in the form of ministry. By serving those who have not asked, who have not earned, who couldn't possibly deserve what you go to give them freely. And you sacrifice that of yourself through your time, your talent, your treasure, your effort, and you give yourself over. That is where true growth and maturity happens. And so, as a church body, we need those opportunities. You need that invitation. We all need a chance to try something new. Maybe you've been serving somewhere, you want to give it a shot somewhere else. Maybe you want to learn about other opportunities. Maybe it's your first time. But what we've realized, what we've observed over the course of time is even when you put out the invitation, when you make it known what all the ministries are, if you don't sacrifice time in how you do church service and say, this is what we're doing today, we are getting involved in ministry. If you don't do that at this level, the people that are a little too timid, the people who have never tried it before and aren't having that same level of confidence, they don't come, or they don't come as quickly. And so for the health of that person, for the health of the one they're going to serve, and for the health of the unity in the body, we need to do expo. We need to invite to service. So in this Ministry and Missions Expo, this is where we highlight the things we have to offer, the avenues in which you can jump on board, and where you can contribute based on your gift, your experience. So we are just repeating the same call that Jesus did when He called his disciples to follow Him in service. But this is the introduction to the reminder that we are all called to serve. We all have a calling, whatever that calling may be, individually. We all have a corporate call to ministry within the church. Again, not for self-glory, but making God's church big, making Jesus' name big. So real quick, I'm going to highlight some points here of the categories of the things you'll see, and then we're going to break out of here. We're going to go in the foyer, and our ministry representatives and leaders are going to be out at each table, and you can ask them all the questions you want, and they should be able to tell you everything you have a question for, because we know we can testify to what our ministries do, what they bring, where they stop, and what needs are fulfilled. So during the context of a church service, we have some critical ministry teams. Obviously, we have a tech team, we have a worship team, We have guest services, and we have our children's ministry. These are 4 pivotal ministries that always need to be replenished, always need new blood. If you value those ministries, if you value worship that's enjoyable and it's inviting to be a part of, if you enjoy being able to turn over your children to reliable, trustworthy teachers and know that they're hearing the message of Jesus, if you like to be welcomed into a place and not walk in and feel like a stranger, if those are the things that impact you, I would encourage you, please do. Some of us go and serve where we've been served and we want to give back. But others of us, we look for where's the need, where's the gap, what's the thing I can do that nobody else is willing to do at this time so that we don't fall short there. So you'll see us do worship. We'll do laundry is what supports us being able to do baptisms and work in the kitchen. We have our RockFish kids. We have prayer partners that are right up here after church service. By the way, the pathway to that at this point will be through chaplains. Our guest services team, our care team is kind of what helps take care of the people of the church when they're in need. Obviously, our nursery kind of falls in with our RockFish kids, and then production or tech team helping support with all the electronic features in the back to make sure everything works for us. But we have other ministries that exist within the church, in-house ministries. So AHG and Trail Life, that's the Christian response to Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts losing their mind over 10 years ago and going away from God. And so this is the Christian response to build up young, patriotic, God-fearing men and women through those same kind of pathways and activities, but making sure that Christ is the center of every activity. Volunteer staff is the ability to help out here throughout the week. If you have that kind of flexibility. Yard sale store, that's where we minister to the people as we're taking what seems to be like our junk, turning it over to somebody else for a very cheap price that turns around and funds ministry. Meanwhile, while we're selling them those items, we minister them to them and their needs in the moment as well. Celebrate Recovery is an excellent ministry. It's nationwide, but we host it at the Rayford campus on Thursday nights at 6 o'clock, where it starts with food and then fellowship, worship, and discipleship. All happens in the context of the roughly 2 hours that they're there. Fabulous group of people. They are truly there to love and care for the ones that need recovery, that need help, that need healing through their wounds in the past. We have our ladies ministry and men's ministry. The ladies meet second Saturday every month right here for their brunch. The men's, we would love to see that start up, but we got to do it organically. When you're ready, when you want to see the men's ministry meet here, come see me. But we can't prop it up unless it's an organic launch. But we do have that men's ministry over at the Rayford site, third Saturday of every month. And then lastly, the studios, which is now at this point, which is audio video recording, and we have we're gonna record our own music. We're gonna record our own worship music with our talented team. And so we've got the ability right here in the second floor to record stuff in video and in audio form. So discipleship is key. We believe that's extremely important for the health of everybody in the church. So we've got small group opportunities. You can host a small group if you're a member. You just got to be in contact with Pastor Dan. You can reach out to him for that. Or you can join a small group for the small groups that are open. If you're looking for, hey, what small groups are open? Again, we want you to connect with the rock groups. Just hit up Pastor Dan and he'll be able to get you connected. But Right Now Media is one of the things we pay for this service so that everybody in the church can have it for free. If you don't have access to Right Now Media, it is video and it's digital content that you can access through your phone. It's for Bible study. It's for devotions. It's for topical research on biblical issues. If you want access to Right Now Media and you don't have it, just email mrt@rockfishchurch.com and you can gain access to that. You'll have free access to everything that sits within there. Like I said, we pay for it because we want you to have it. We don't need you just sitting under our teaching. There's so much more information out there that we can't cover within any given week or year, and we want you to be fed daily. We have our reach teams. We know we are purposeful about going out and serving the community. Thankfully, we just had a great showing yesterday through Hands of Hope. Hands of Hope. And so Keith and I think about 20 other people, we showed up and worked with the Moore County Coalition. And I think we boxed up over 250 meals or boxes worth of food, I think around 200 Valentine's Day gifts or something like that, and then prepared some other boxes of juice and stuff like that. So attempting to serve as many families as we can based on how many of us can show up. But that's every first Saturday of every month. That's our outreach. If you want to learn about that, we'll have some folks out here to tell you about it as well. But everything from hosting a prayer point to going out to a community outreach event. We're going to have some quarterly big events we're going to do in the Fayetteville area, trying to reach the homeless. Great opportunities. And again, we have our outreach calendar that will kind of tell you what's to expect in the next few weeks. And you can register for any one of those. And when you register, you get told exactly where to show up, how to be there, when to be there, and what to expect. We've got pathways to prepare you for ministry. They start at 12:10 every Sunday. So right out here in the foyer area, you've got starting points, 4 weeks. It's required for anyone who wants to serve at RockFish Church. We have to know those who labor among us. And so we need you to go so you can know us and our values and our beliefs, and we can know you and know that you're aligned. Equipping Point is 6 weeks long, same time frame, happens right back here with Jason, Keith, whoever's available to teach it that day. And that is for pursuing greater level or depth in maturity ministry and a commitment to outreach. So those things exist for you. And the thing you've been hearing about recently, the video you saw just a few minutes ago, that RockFish release, what this is the recognition that the church is meant for the equipping of the saints, not just through preaching, but through classroom setting, through OJT, going out there in the field and learning as you set your hands to things, failing and thriving all at the same time. And so wanting to fulfill that fivefold ministry of equipping people, preparing them for the mission we have, the call we have at RockFish. We believe we're called to partner or plant a church in every state in the United States and every country in the world. In fact, Pastor Tony is out there in the Philippines right now. Him and Pastor Jeff are going to go to a couple other countries. They're going to go to Nepal and Bangladesh and see about 2 other opportunities for us to connect in those countries as well. And we are continually looking for that opportunity to connect and support other ministries. We don't always have to create the wheel ourselves. The chaplain program, as said in the video, is the gateway drug to get in the rest of these release tracks, right? Because they all build on each other. And so if you're going to go evangelize, you might have somebody break down on you. You might have somebody just spill the beans like their whole life on you right there, just throw up everything that's going on. And you need to know how to care for that person. And we learn how to care for people in the chaplain course. So you got to go to the chaplain course to be able to get into the rest of these. But in April, we'll have the teacher exhorter for those that feel they're called to teach, those that want to feel just better equipped to teach than they have before. We're going to give you classroom teaching, and then again, a whole bunch of project-based practical exercises to do over the course of time to get to that point. The evangelist track for going out specifically and not just evangelizing, but being able to take anybody else and equip them to be an evangelist as well. And then lastly, the pastor planter track we're going to launch this fall. That's for people who are declaring, I'm supposed to be a pastor, I'm supposed to plant a church, the Lord's called me to this place or this people group, and I want to go, I need to know how to go. I want to help a church that's hurting right now without a pastor in our community. We know there are hundreds of churches just in North Carolina alone that have 0 pastors. They got churches with no pastor. Jesus' heart breaks for the people who have no shepherd. And so whether we're talking about planting churches or helping other churches who need support, who need that person to go and take care for that flock that's been there waiting for their next shepherd, that is what that pastor planter track is. And again, each one of these is a classroom setting and then moves into OJT, get your hands dirty and learn to do some things. So that being said, that's the gist of what you're going to experience out here. Please go ask questions. Please Please give us an opportunity to tell you about what opportunities exist and how your giftings can fit within those ministries. So I'm going to ask everybody to go ahead and stand up, and we're going to head out into the foyer, and we're going to mingle for a while. And like Mark said, anytime you're ready to go get your kids, please go do so. But we're going to be doing this until 12 o'clock. So you got until 12 o'clock to get your kids. Thank you guys. We'll see you out there.